Okay, so I am going to give commentary over the video. It's a great video. Let me just start off by saying that, but we have a few things to talk about. So here we go. All right, so here, you, this just doesn't make any sense. Why would Leon be so inactive in this very moment? Why wouldn't he try to help her? Why wouldn't he yell out, "Hey!" Like, why would he just be standing there and watch her get killed? Like, this interaction wasn't so fast that he could not react. And then after she gets murdered right in front of him, he just doesn't see. It was like he didn't care that she wasn't a zombie. He didn't care that she was still human. Like he interacted more with the zombie than he did with her. He didn't he didn't acknowledge her death at all. And I think this was poorly edited, or this was in some way not quality checked by the developers, because it's definitely something out of character for Leon. So I don't know. Obviously, we have a lot of gameplay here. Go for the knees, lots of melee options, the ability to use enemy weapons, which is really good this time. We thought it was just a one hit at the beginning when we saw the chainsaw, but now we know that the chainsaw can be used probably 2 or 3 times before it becomes another dead prop. Again, animation styles dependent on where enemies are. If they're isolated versus up against the wall, he'll use his environment to get the kill, allowing you to save the durability of your axe, your tomahawk, so you don't have to whip it out every time. So that's good. And just a very bloody game, very graphic. RE has, the modern RE games have never been for kids, so we're all here for it. Now we switch over to Grace, and we see what happens after this. This theatrical piece was out for a few months, and now we see the other half of that, where Grace and Leon first meet. He saves her. I actually didn't like this part because they showed us what happens to Big Mama, and I don't know. I just didn't like that. Like, she was such a threat to Grace, and then Leon just comes and boom, saves the day. But like, this is very unsatisfying from a storytelling aspect because one, I wanted Grace to kill Big Mama. Two, I didn't want to know how Big Mama meets her demise before I actually play the game. So, yes, it's good, but on the other hand, all right, so now Leon and Grace are having their, awkward interaction. Grace doesn't know which way is north, but, she has just been through what is only the beginning of her nightmare. Gideon taking action from the shadows, literally locking down the Rhodes Hill Care Center. And I don't know, maybe that's not the end of Big Mama. Like, maybe he'll find a way to bring her back. I don't fucking know. Or use her blood to recreate another one. Who knows? But Leon just trying to get answers. It feels like he knows, like, there's someone down there. Like, I think he senses Gideon in the shadows, but he doesn't quite know. This scene is very reminiscent of RE2 when the cop gives Leon his battle knife, his combat knife, and he says, "Take it, you'll need it," So there's definitely a homage to Resident Evil 2 in that scene. Hopefully you see it. And now we switch over to Grace's perspective, and she's left to explore the Rhodes Hill Care Center and try to find a way out of this nightmare. I am interested in playing Grace as a character. I'm not going to play her in first person like how we see her now. This view normally gives me a headache or that like car sick, nauseous feeling. so I'm not going to use it for myself. Um, I will do first person replays on multiple playthroughs because I do want to have that experience. But the first playthrough will be first person, will be third person, excuse me, for Leon and Grace. And you see, we have these classic RE homages, a hint, but nothing spelled out directly, a relief that something gets placed into, but we don't know what that thing is. Options for paths we can take, but only one path will progress the story. So, you know, for those who wanted an open world game, maybe in the future, maybe with the next remake, but this is definitely linear. It's been confirmed. Um, I don't necessarily think that first person perspective adds to the tension. I mean, I guess it could in a way, but for me, if I got a big bad in front of me, I don't care if I can't see my character. Like I have the same level of tension. But I don't know. Maybe the Requiem helps to balance the playing field. We see how incredible and strong it is. I can't wait to get infinite ammo for all the weapons in this game so I can just play as Leon or Grace and just demolish. And that might be a thing. Like you have to beat the game as both of them, or you might have to beat the game under particular circumstances to get infinite ammo for each of them because they have their own separate weapon loadouts and storages. So definitely want infinite ammo for Leon and Grace. We can see a lot of other little environmental cues here. We have to kind of use the enemies to our advantage in order to slip by them. The infinite loop of a zombie's actions and behaviors. Here he turns out the lights. That's his job, to keep turning out the lights. And here Grace tries to sneak by, but he gives her a little scare. Now you can see there's an interactable just as Grace cuts that corner that she was running away from, so she didn't get a chance to interact with it. But I think there's going to be a lot of things like that. Just if you blink, you'll miss it type items. And then some stuff that we find by happenstance. Just a pea shooter. Not a lot of power. Decent number of rounds it holds. Clearing this room actually would have probably identified some other items that Grace could have picked up, but because she, runs out of here, it's probably up to Leon on the next pass through to clear this room of any items that may be valuable. So here we see Grace getting busy, trying to get some action in, and she's shooting. There's a lot of recoil. There's a lot of space in between each shot. The handgun is not powerful at all. She does get attacked. I don't think that this was unavoidable, or she couldn't have ducked or dodged, or she couldn't have turned and run. I think this was shown to see like what an attack animation looks like when you get grabbed by different enemies. And I think this songstress, the singer who gets zombified, like I think that is something new. We've never seen zombies with like not special powers, but with like auditory powers before. We've seen big monsters yell and scream and make a lot of sounds, but hers, hers was definitely unique. So she uses her voice as a weapon, and I think that is unique. So definitely interested to see what they do with zombies this time, how they reimagine them. We continue on in the care center. It's beautiful, by the way. They absolutely just made a beautiful layout. Not a mansion, not a castle, but the Rhodes Hill Care Center is a hospital / institution with hotel-like ambiance and puzzles and all of these things just add to the atmosphere. So I am interested in exploring this place, and I think there'll be lots of hidden treasures, lots of odes to former games. and I can't wait to play that. So here we see how Grace can interact with these. I see again, like he was right there in the crosshairs for her not to take that third shot. I think the devs wanted us to see what it would look like if she was attacked and had the ability to stab or use melee attacks against the zombies. She gives one last push. We can see her starting to get her confidence, and interact with these zombies and kill them and take them down. I love that idea. I love the idea of Grace gaining her confidence through the process of going through this nightmare. And it is just that. It is a fucking nightmare. And then we have these like mini bosses. I don't think he's a big boss. I don't know if we get anything for defeating him. I mean, we'll get something, but I don't know if we get anything big for defeating him or if he's just like a mini boss. Grace has one, Leon has one, and in a moment we'll see how Leon takes down his mini boss. Here we see Grace use the injector again for stealth attacks. So you can use the injector for these blood pools that are around the hospital, and then the hemolytic injector combined with some sort of, I don't know, plant or some herb or some sort of other combinable makes, this perfect stealth weapon. And then we're going to sneak up behind this guy in a sec and send him straight to hell. I think this is cool. I think this will also give us that, Last of Us feel where stealth is a really important part of this game. Really being in the moment, not just shooting zombies from 50 feet away, but getting up close and personal, getting bloody. I like the idea of doing that. Limited resources, resource management. It's always been an aspect of RE. This game will be no exception to that, but hopefully Grace will have the ability to hold, 3 or 4 weapons, 3 to 5 weapons at a time, and that won't interfere with, our gameplay experience. Now we switch back over to Leon. I think Leon looks good for the most part, but I don't know why they gave him this hunch. They gave him this, he's hunched over more so than he was in RE4. I never played RE6, so I don't know, but he has this hunched over look, and I just don't know why. Is that supposed to be attributed to the fact that he's aging? Kind of weird. I don't really like it, but his arms are huge, and he's the Leon we all know and love. So there's that. So you can see here he's taking on his own little mini boss. His shots combined with the melee attacks eventually do take down this enemy, but it does seem, sorry, it does seem like I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It does seem like this enemy is a mini boss and not like a regular boss. He's not like El Gigante in RE4. He's not the grotesque baby from Donna Beneviento's house in RE8. He's just like a mini boss that, if you're not prepared for, it can take you out. But in any case, we literally have a month and a few days before this game releases. I still haven't pre-ordered it yet because I have PlayStation Digital, so there's no need to rush. But if I do pre-order it, I probably will. And good luck to everybody out there.